I was recently speaking at an event in Vancouver, and afterwards a student came up and spoke to me. And he said to me, "I'm an atheist. And you know what? If God appeared to me personally and did a miracle just for me, right in front of me, I'd become a believer immediately. He hasn't, and therefore I remain an atheist." Well, I thought, what a good objection. But I looked the student in the eye and I said, "You know what? Powerful as that objection sounds, there is powerful counter-evidence to the contrary right there in the Bible. Think about the Old Testament. In the book of Exodus, chapter 32, we hear the story of how Moses goes up Mount Sinai to receive the Ten Commandments. And the people of Israel are gathered around the bottom of the mountain. And God appears to Moses, and there are dramatic signs and wonders. There's an earthquake and fire and smoke, and the people are afraid with the power of God displayed. Well, as Moses comes down from the mountain, what does he discover? Well, far from being impressed by what they've seen, the people have busied themselves making an idol of a golden calf and are busy worshipping it. In other words, miracles has not led to commitment. We might equally look to the New Testament. Consider somebody like Judas, one of the inner circle of Jesus' 12 disciples. He spends 3 years hanging out with Jesus, seeing his miracles, watching him perform works of amazing power. And what does Judas do? He betrays Jesus. In other words, just because you see a miracle doesn't necessarily mean you're going to respond in the right way. You can still turn your back and rebel. But there's a further problem too. I said to that student, imagine you walked out of this building and right there in the car park, God appears and he does the most amazing dramatic miracle for you. Perhaps he writes your name in letters of fire 400 meters high along the horizon. What would happen next? Well, said the student, I guess I'd believe in him. Yes, I said, but the problem is God doesn't simply want you to believe in him. We see this in Scripture. In the book of James, in the New Testament, we read these words, "Even the demons believe in God and they shudder." i.e. the devil believes in God. Belief in God is not the main thing. What God is asking from you is not belief so much as commitment and trust that you give your entire life to him. How on earth could God demand something so outrageous? The student responded. Well, I think that's easy, I said. There are 2 reasons. Number 1, he's God. He created you. He does get to make the rules. But number 2, we read elsewhere these words in the New Testament, in the epistle of John, the first epistle of John. We love because he first loved us. In other words, God took the initiative. In the person of Jesus, God gave the life of his own son for us. He gave us everything. And therefore, he can demand everything in return.